Good evening and welcome to the Weekly Voice presented by VNN, bringing you this week's top 10 Canadian news stories on March 21st, 2025. Let's get started. With a federal election on the horizon, Canada is pledging nearly $100 million in aid to Palestinians in the Gaza Strip and West Bank. Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly, now also overseeing international development, announced that $45 million will go toward urgent humanitarian relief, like food, shelter, and healthcare in Gaza. Another $30 million will support governance and recovery in the West Bank. A quarter of the total funding is also being dedicated to security efforts, including landmine removal, in collaboration with the UN, World Bank, and Red Cross. The announcement comes as the Liberals face criticism from both Jewish and Arab communities over their stance on the Israel-Hamas conflict. There's a glimmer of hope for Hudson's Bay. The iconic Canadian retailer is seeking court approval to keep 6 of its stores open amid a major liquidation. Locations in Toronto's Yonge Street, Yorkdale, Hillcrest, and 3 key stores in Quebec may be spared if they can prove viability by April 4th. The company is attempting to stabilize after filing for creditor protection, citing tariff pressures and shifting consumer habits. Loyalty points and gift card acceptance will soon be paused, and the rest of the chain remains at risk unless restructuring plans come through fast. Prime Minister Mark Carney met with Canada's premiers today in Ottawa, rallying the provinces to create what he calls one Canadian economy. The meeting comes as China and the US both hit Canada with new tariffs, raising alarm in key sectors. Saskatchewan's Premier Scott Moe is urging Carney to intervene directly with Beijing over canola tariffs, while tensions with Washington continue to escalate under President Trump. With a snap election expected any day now, Carney's leadership and economic strategy are under scrutiny. Tesla has been dropped from the Vancouver Auto Show just days before opening. Organizers cite protest risks and safety concerns linked to Elon Musk's ties to US President Donald Trump. Musk's role in Trump's administration and political rhetoric have made Tesla a lightning rod for Canadian anger, especially in BC, where Tesla was already pulled from provincial EV rebates. Protesters are targeting the brand, and organizers say the removal was necessary to avoid disruptions at the popular event. After years of rapid population expansion, Canada is seeing a slowdown. New data shows population growth dropped in 2024, largely due to fewer temporary resident permits and a wave of international students and workers leaving the country. This follows tougher federal policies aimed at easing pressure on housing and services. While the overall population still grew by more than 740,000, it's a step back from the explosive increases of the past few years. Provinces like Alberta continue to grow, but places like Newfoundland and Nova Scotia are now seeing minor declines. The Quebec government has tabled controversial new legislation to extend its secularism laws. Bill 94 would expand the ban on religious symbols to include school staff, parent volunteers, and even students, prohibiting face coverings on school grounds. Critics say the bill disproportionately targets Muslim women and violates constitutional rights. Legal experts expect the government to invoke the notwithstanding clause to bypass court challenges. The proposal has drawn sharp backlash from civil rights advocates and unions who call it discriminatory. Education Minister Bernard Drainville insists the law is about reinforcing secular values, but opposition parties are calling for a more inclusive approach. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is promising a major push to develop Ontario's Ring of Fire region. If elected, Poilievre says he'll approve all federal permits within 6 months and commit $1 billion to road infrastructure in the mineral-rich area. The Ring of Fire contains critical minerals like nickel, cobalt, and chromite, vital to battery production and national security. Poilievre says this project could reduce dependence on China and the US and bring jobs to northern communities. While critics warn against bypassing proper Indigenous consultations, the proposal marks a key pillar in the Conservative platform ahead of the looming election. Longtime Nepean MP Chandra Arya has been dropped by the Liberal Party just weeks before a federal election is expected. A letter from party leadership cited new information but gave no specifics. Arya, who has represented Nepean since 2015, expressed gratitude for his time in office but appeared blindsided by the decision. His removal follows an earlier disqualification from the Liberal leadership race. While party officials remain tight-lipped, the sudden move raises questions about internal party dynamics and candidate vetting ahead of the upcoming election. In a significant development, India and Canada are working to restore formal ties following months of tension. Diplomatic talks restarted in December, and both nations are preparing to exchange new high commissioners, pending final approval. Security cooperation has also resumed, with high-level meetings between RCMP, CSIS, and Indian agencies tackling organized crime and the Nijar investigation. These renewed talks signal a reset, aided in part by the change in Canadian leadership from Trudeau to Prime Minister Mark Carney. With the G7 summit in Alberta on the horizon, all eyes are on how this reset will shape future trade and security collaborations. Former Prime Minister Stephen Harper is breaking his silence on Canada's troubled relationship with India. Speaking at a major event in New Delhi, Harper called the growing rift perplexing and heartbreaking. He accused the Liberal government of allowing fringe Khalistani voices to influence its policies, warning that this is straining one of Canada's most important global partnerships. While Harper stopped short of commenting on the 2023 killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, he stressed that Canada's foreign policy must not be shaped by separatist elements. He also commended Prime Minister Modi for maintaining people-to-people ties despite the political fallout. That's all for today's top stories. Thank you for joining us on The Weekly Voice, presented by VNN. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you next time.